Okay, so the tank's looking a little bit better. I ended up sanding it all down the welds as much as I could. Actually used one of these little grinding disc things. I don't know what they're called, but sandpaper. They worked out really well. Now I just want to get the finish of the tank looking a little bit better. So I'm going to give this a go, just one of these rotary sanders, whatever you call them. Try and give that a go on here and just give it a little bit more of a finish, and then we can mount this thing up and start to plumb it up. Hey. Alright, so you better make sure this thing doesn't leak. Got the trusty old kettle here. It's the only thing I had, and we can actually measure how much this thing's going to hold. So we have got about 3 leaks. This one here I'm actually not sure about. There is a drippage there, very slow, so I'm not too sure, but we have got one here, one on the corner, and I think another one there. Now this tank holds roughly about 3.5 litres, so I'll just weld these up and then we'll fill it back up, and hopefully we don't have any more leaks. Alright, so I'm just chucking in a quick bit of lunch. If you guys haven't had these are absolutely delicious. You get them at Aldi, they're like $2 each. Really good for occasions like this. Anyway, so this has been sitting for about half an hour now, filled back up. I did fill those little holes up with some weld, and as you can see, it's all pretty watertight. There's no leaks on this bench, so that's pretty damn good. I'm happy with that. Now I did actually run back over these. They look really ugly. Anyway, it's aesthetically doesn't really please, but it holds up and it's not leaking, so that's the main thing. Because when I welded that little part that was leaking, it just looked out of place, so I went back over all that. Anyway, so now what we can do is mount this thing up in the Jeep, and then we can do some inlet and outlet drains. So I picked up some fittings, so we'll be welding in. So we'll put one underneath as the drain, and we'll put one in the top as the return for the fuel pump, because I'm going to put a little ball valve just to try and regulate the pressure a little bit. Alright, so this is our super temporary setup at the moment. So we've got both lines run. That's obviously the inlet, as you'd say, and that'll be our outlet, such as return. So we've got those up here. Now I am hoping that the pump will drag that fuel up. I don't know how much sort of pressure this thing will pull or anything, how that sort of works. Now this is our homemade regulator here. I'm just going to see if that works. So it runs up to the carby, through the pump, sorry, up to the carby, then comes back through this T-fitting to relieve some of the pressure, because I am worried that this pump's going to be too high pressure for this carby. Did say about 1 to 4 psi, but I'm not sure how that actually regulates. I'm guessing it's probably voltage. Anyway, just mind all the wiring mess here, but yeah, so we've just got those temporary run. We'll put everything in P-clips and mount up the pump eventually if that pump works. And I do actually want to relocate the battery now to up here, sort of how I did want to do it at the start. It is absolutely pouring. Luckily someone didn't forget the fuel and had to go out in the rain anyway. All right, let's fill it up and we'll see if we can prime this system up. This thing is so quiet. It's probably going to be hard for you guys to hear with the rain in the background, but yeah, you can barely even hear that running. So I've just got the pump hooked up to a little 5-amp fuse here. I do want to integrate this all into the loom once I know this system works, and I would like to put some type of cut-off relay on this, so if this Jeep was to roll over on an accident or something, it doesn't just keep pumping fuel onto a hot engine. So we'll try and work that out. This thing's running completely on its own power. Oh yes, that is so good. Alright, so there you have it. The fuel tank is done on the Power Wheels Jeep, and I'm super happy with how this thing turned out. Now this thing is built quite overkill for the vehicle that it's in. It is made out of 3mm steel, so it is quite heavy, so we may have to upgrade these rear shocks at some point. But this was the only location I could put this fuel tank, being underneath the seat, so all the weight is actually on the back, so hopefully that counter-levers the weight of the engine. That fuel pump and regulator work pretty well there. I haven't actually given this thing any throttle underneath load, so we will have to see how that goes, and we may have to do some further tuning down the track. So obviously guys, if I had a TIG welder, we would have made this thing out of some smaller steel, and it would have been a lot lighter and much easier to build. So in the next video, we will be fully welding this frame and painting it, so this thing will be 100% complete, and then we can take it for a nice ride. Now I do have a really cool colour scheme coming for this thing, so you guys will have to stay tuned. So yeah guys, that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, because it does help videos like these get pushed out to recommendations. I'll see you guys in the next one.